Hi, you're watching Christian Vibes TV, your favorite entertainment blog house in Ghana, West Africa, and the whole world at large. If you like our videos, please subscribe, like, and share.
Hey guys, so Apostle Joshua Selman is actually under fire for supporting that ministers should put a price on their maybe ministration, if I should put it that way. But then I want you all to watch the video before I give you this reaction, okay?
And then let me say this. I'm saying it on behalf of the worship ministers. I know that they may not want to say this, but let me tell you sincerely, no great man, no one who has paid the price to rise by the Spirit of God will give himself cheaply. There is a balance that I want to bring on their behalf. In as much as they do not charge, sincerely speaking, anybody who understands anything about success and growth should know that attaining this kind of level of global influence comes with a price. Yes. A price that only God can explain. And so there should be a token of honor, whether it is financially or otherwise. There are people who have not yet gotten to the level to bring this grace. You can be patient and work with the people who are rising within your locality that both your finance and influence can accommodate. Knowing that one day you have the opportunity to sit at table with the great. Because sometimes what people do that they call faith is foolishness. You see that? In all fairness, I will tell you this. There are people who have wanted to invite me and they send text messages and say, Apostle, I listened to your message. You say you are humble. You say you love God. And I know that my coming, the crowds that will come, those people don't even have the financial capability to host it. The security system required, you see, and all of that. There are certain political people who may want to come to that meeting in honor of my coming. And these people don't have influence with the DSS. They don't have influence with the police. They don't know some of the ethics of hosting ministers at certain levels. So sometimes you save them this painful lesson by staying away. They may not understand. You see that? And so I think we must sustain the courage. You may be misunderstood. People may insult you. They may misunderstand you. But your walk with God is the most important thing. And God is the one who honors you, and he will continue to bless you. But I will encourage every man of God, every minister of God, and respectfully speaking, the great people here. I have the opportunity of knowing a bit about the inner sacrifices that they make. Please love God, love the body, but do not give yourself cheaply to people who have not mastered the art of discerning your pain and your sacrifice. You can reduce the expectation that comes with the anointing, and you find out that even your receiving of your grace will become commonized, and the people will not be blessed again.
Okay guys, so after watching that video, I don't know what perspective or what opinion you have formed in your head, because I have my own opinion too, but I'm going to be giving my opinion later after reading the opinion of this person that actually sparked this debate. So this person posted on Twitter, and the person said, "This makes absolutely no sense." And the person is actually referring to that video I played for you, yeah? So he says, "This makes absolutely no sense and it is not scriptural. He's just speaking English. Unless you have English deficiency, he's saying you should put a value on the grace of God bestowed on you. Otherwise, people will commonize your grace where they can't accommodate it. What he is referring to as pastoral grace is simply social media growth and listeners. He's being self-glorious. If you think you have more grace, you should do more preaching, not pandering to politicians and big men." I mean, I don't know who he's referring to, because I don't think Apostle Joshua Selman is just a social media pastor. I mean, but then it's his opinion, so I'll continue. So it goes on to say, "But by the grace of God, I am what I am, and his grace to me was not without effect. No, I worked harder than all of them, yet not I, but the grace of God that was with me." 1 Corinthians 15:10. And it says in Acts 14, Paul and Barnabas went to preach to the people of Lystra. While there, Paul healed a man crippled from his mother's womb, and the people were amazed that they referred to Paul as Mercurius and Barnabas as Jupiter, and offered them sacrifices. Paul and Barnabas had to tear their clothes in tears and cried out to the people, telling them that they were just men like them, and further preached the gospel of Christ, converting thousands to the kingdom. Now, this is the same Paul that was flogged 39 times and was being thrown in prisons back to back, experienced shipwreck, was beaten by snakes, was haunted by governors, was robbed on the roads, was stoned by strangers, was hungry and thirsty, all for the kingdom. Read 2 Corinthians 11:22 to 23 with me. Hmm. This is a long one anyway, but then I think it's interesting. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seeds of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Christ? I speak as a fool, I am more. In labors more abundant, in stripes above measures, in prison more frequently, in death often. From the Jews 5 times I received 40 stripes minus one. 3 times I was beaten with rods, once I was stoned, 3 times I was shipwrecked, a night and a day I have been in the deep, in journeys often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers, in perils of my own countrymen, in perils of the Gentiles, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren, in weariness and toil, in sleeplessness often, in hunger and thirst, in fasting often, in cold and nakedness. Besides the other things, what comes upon me daily, my deep concern for all the churches, who is weak and I am not weak, who is made to stumble and I do not burn with indignation. If I must boast, I will boast in the things which concern my infirmity. The God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who is blessed forever, knows that I am not lying. In Damascus, the governor under Aretas the king was guarding the city of the Damascenes with a garrison, desiring to arrest me, but I was let down in a basket through a window in the wall and escaped from his hands. So, what the is Joshua Selman talking about? You get grace which Paul, Abi, you have you made 1/10 of your sacrifices for the gospel? Nigerian pastors just want to flex. In fact, First Timothy 3:3 states that a church leader must not be a lover of money. James 1:7 says, you blaspheme the name of God of you treat if you treat a rich man differently from a poor man in the assembly of God's people. Imagine his concern being that politicians would come and they would need DSS. You will not preach if a church cannot host the big men coming. The church is a neutral place and everyone is equal before God. Anybody that cannot humble himself in church has no business coming to church. And you, as a preacher, is more concerned about big men coming to church? Leave the gospel alone. Who are you that he cannot host you? You're just a messenger. You're not above the message. Listen, my beloved brethren. Has God not chosen the poor of this world to be rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom, which he promised to those who love him? But you have dishonored the poor man. Do not the rich oppress you and drag you into the courts? Do they not blaspheme that noble name by which you are called? James 2 James 2 5 to 7. And that is the end of this man's ranting on social media. Okay. Da-na-na-na-na. I think it's time for me to drop my own opinion. I don't know what you guys made of this guy's ranting. Yeah, if it made sense to you, I don't know. But to me, I'm gonna say that my opinion is my opinion. I'm not imposing it on you, yeah, and I'm not saying this guy is wrong. He knows why he's ranting, but to me, I think at some points he's off. Yeah. Um, Apostle wasn't saying that he's not coming for your programs until you invite big men to it. No, he's just stating a fact. So, my darling, so his Apostle is just stating the fact that when you invite him for programs here, that is going to draw the attentions of, you know, big men. And now he doesn't know if that church that wouldn't be able to, pay him or take care of him is not saying you should put a price tag anyway. He's saying something like, you are a vessel, yeah? So whenever these people comes, you should actually take care of them. You should know that, okay, you can't just, treat them anyhow. Okay, let me now refer this person back to what Apostle Femi Lazarus shared one day. He was saying that, I think it was on Sunday, yeah? He was saying that he went for a program and I think he said he went by road after a very long, ride to the place. He arrived at the venue, and then they were giving excuses for food and everything, and that was how he did. They did not give him food that day, so he went to the place they told him to stay, and then he told them that he wanted to pass a wee, that he wanted to urinate, and they gave him a bucket that he should urinate in the bucket. He said he was surprised, and later he said okay, no problem, that he would sort himself out. And later he told them that he wanted to have his bath. That same bucket was what they gave him to have his bath. And I'm like, okay, so fine, even if this person is not a pastor, it's just a visitor you're having in your house. You know the way you treat guests? I would say in Africa, yeah, let me use Africa as an example. When you have maybe you planned for 20 guests to come to your house over for Christmas, and then your mom now noticed that it's about 50 that came. Do you know that she would rather give those people all the chickens and leave the children, and maybe she would just tell them, no problem, I'll get you chicken later, let's just give to the visitors first. Yeah, so that is the way we reverence visitors. We reverence people that came to visit us, not to talk of people that came for you to impact into their lives, and then you're treating the person like this. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys another instance. I was watching Pastor Lawrence, yeah, with what's the name, the Willows, the wife, Anwili, yes. So she was asking him some questions, and then Pastor Lawrence Oyo said that at first he was always flying himself to the venue, what do you call it, accommodating himself, that he doesn't charge. Yeah, he doesn't charge. He doesn't ask you to pay for his flight. He doesn't ask you to for accommodation. He sorts all of those things out by himself. And so he said one day, I think is his mentor or somebody that sat him down. I was asking him, how much do you have in your account? And he said he had 3.6. And the person was like, okay, you have 36 million. He said no. He said you have 3.6 million. He said no. Said, what do you have? He said 3.6. Said 3.6 as how he said 3,600. And the person was like, okay, so you went for administration just now, so how did you get there? He said he sponsored himself to the place, he accommodated himself. I said, what did they give to you? He said they gave him conflicts. I mean, you look at it, what Apostle is trying to say is that it's not like you charge, but give honor to whom honor is due. You treat them well, make sure they are safe. It's just like you, okay, let's put it this way now. Let's even put it this way. These pastors that are saying you shouldn't pay, you shouldn't take care of them, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do. If a king had told them, I am going to visit your church, an earthly king go, that is fetish, that is even into all this diabolical stuff, just because he's a king of a place, or even a president coming to tell them, I'm going to attend your service, you would see the honor they're going to give to this man. They're going to feed him, they're going to put him in a very nice place. In fact, they might even send private jet to go and pick him up. Yeah, so they're going to give honor. So why is it that it's very difficult now for us to accept that we need to honor these men of God? We need to honor the grace of God upon their lives. I'm not saying they should become proud, or I'm not in support of overly charging. I think at some point why they even started charging was because they have seen things. Imagine going somewhere, they're not giving you food, you stressed yourself, you paid for everything. So how do you now make it? You now spend. Imagine you have like maybe 5 or 6 ministrations, different states, and you're the one sponsoring yourself. You're traveling everywhere with your own money, sorting out your feeding and accommodation fees, and then you go there and they give you nothing and you come back. I mean, you look at yourself. You people that are pointing fingers at all these pastors, point that finger at yourself. Sit down, think very well, use your head, think. If it's you, will you be happy? If you are married with kids, how will you take care of them? Is it church money you will collect? Fine, if the pastor start collecting church money, you see people that will say pastor is eating our tithe and office. See, let me just tell you the truth. I think at this point you all are very confused. You all are so confused. Everybody just has an opinion. You just open your mouth and say things. Sometimes you sound right, but at the end you not start sounding like somebody. See, who? I'm just leaving people. There's another video at the back. People should watch it. Okay, bye.
This is to the church now. Let me first leave the people invited. They are charging 10 million, 30 million, 40 million. Why did you invite them? When you answer that honest question, you give them their money without talking. You know why? Because you know you want them to come bring something. It might not be spirits. It might be small spirits and small. Oh yeah. But because they have something, you are using it to build your, is it PR they call it? Is that it? That's why, you see, the church, we don't like the truth. That's why those church, then you will now finish inviting them and now say they are charging. Did they put a gun to your neck? I ask you, did they put a gun to your neck? Pay them their money.